talking about food. We've got some great little videos, a nice little mini series coming up for you. What you need to eat in order to stay slim as you get older. So what worked in your 20s and 30s and 40s is not going to work in your 50s and 60s. Everything slows down, your body changes. So I'm going to be giving you some ideas of how to eat in order to stay slimmer as you get older. There's lots of little tricks to help your immune system, your digestion, and also give you a little bit more energy. So if you're really feeling sluggish, there's probably something wrong with the food that you're eating. Let's take a look this way. Juice, I will then have my breakfast, which consists of 4 eggs with just 2 yolks, so 4 egg whites, 2 yolks. I will then have asparagus, and I will then have a handful of spinach. I don't weigh it out because it's off season. I get a little bit relaxed. I don't want to be really paranoid about the food that I'm having. I know kind of the portions that I should have. So 4 asparagus spears, 4 of those, and that. So that's a bowl full. That's a decent bowl full. And I'll have the 4 yolks. So 4 eggs, only 2 yolks, guys. 2 yolks. Some of my clients think, oh, you know, it's such a waste throwing the yolks away. Look, yolks are 23 grams of fat, yeah, per yolk. That means that if you have 2 yolks, and this is quite a lot, it's 46 grams of fat in one meal. If you had the 4 eggs and then 4 yolks, can you see how much fat that's going to be? It's a lot of fat, and our bodies can only process a certain amount of fats and carbs and proteins per meal. So I just cook that in a non-stick pan. It's so much easier than adding oils. You don't need excess oils. Make sure you have a good pan. And with these thick asparagus, always make sure that you wash them because they have a lot of dirt at the top. And always buy organic if you can. So that's the amount of vegetables that I would have every day for breakfast. Okay? It's a fair amount, but actually once you've cooked it, it boils down to almost nothing. The handle just fell off the cupboard. Don't get that in cooking series, do you? Only on YouTube. Okay, so you've got to steam that. Make sure it's washed first. Right, so this is all ready to go. I've chucked in a few mushrooms as well, because I love mushrooms. And they're very healthy for you. They're good for your digestion. They're good for your immune system. They're great food to add in. Yeah, so it doesn't take that long. To do the eggs takes about 2 minutes. To do this takes 2 minutes. It is a really quick breakfast. And for some of you that are used to having toast and jam, it's going to feel like an effort, okay? Toast and jam has no nutrition in it whatsoever. If you want to have a great body, if you want to keep good shape, you need to be having a balance of fats, proteins, and your micronutrients here. You've got your vegetables in here. Vegetables are so important to help you lose weight. If you don't have enough nutrition in your body, you're not going to lose the weight because your body's not going to want to get rid of the fat, yeah? If you're having processed foods, your body is going to hold on to the fat because it wants to protect your organs from the toxins. And that's why you tend to plateau. A lot of people tend to starve themselves on diets. That has a detrimental effect, leads to what's called yo-yo dieting. We want you to have a routine in your food that will enable you to maintain a good figure and you don't feel like you're dieting. Yeah, you're going to have to change the way you eat. You are. It's what you're going to have to do. If you want to look in good shape as you get older, you've got to make some sacrifices. How about putting the lid on that because it cooks quicker? So while that's cooking, I'm a really great believer in preparing your foods earlier in the morning. It is so worth getting up early to make sure that all your foods are prepared for the day. So I always have mushies. I love mushrooms. They're great tasting food, and again, very high in nutrition and vitamins. Cabbage is great, and it's a cheap vegetable. Make sure you go organic. Obviously, broccoli, because broccoli is it's quite high in fibre. It's got carbs in it too. It's a fibrous vegetable, and it tends to fill you up. Some vegetables won't, but broccoli is a really good filler. Whether you go for the pre-pack, the long stem broccoli, make sure it's organic again. Everything's wrapped in plastic. We can't get away with that. Or go for natural broccoli as much as you can. If you're saying, yeah, organic vegetables are expensive, then maybe twice a week have it, yeah? So, because what that's gonna do, the organic vegetables are not gonna have the pesticides on, yeah? The pesticides are gonna cause inflammation in your body. The more natural you can be with the foods that you put in, the more your body is gonna respond, and believe me, whatever you do, the lifestyle you take will work. But if you follow me and what I do, you're guaranteed results, okay? But you've gotta stick to it. Right, so we're going to chop these up. So I'll put a couple of vegetables on. I'll just do a handful. So it's usually 150 to 200 grams of, I'm putting some celery in here as well. Celery's great for your digestion. Sometimes I like it steamed slightly. Remember, when you steam a vegetable, don't overdo it. You don't want them soggy because it takes out all the nutrition. So we want to keep that nutrition in the vegetables themselves. Okay, let's move the pot out of the way. Break them all up into little bits, and you want them mouth-sized portions, because what you don't want to do is, when you prepare your food, just have a piece that's too big. So when you're in public trying to eat your food, you're trying to stuff it in your mouth. It doesn't look good. That's just from a personal opinion. Make sure you break them up into little bits. Yeah, it makes it so much easier to eat. Okay, so that's going to give us about 250 grams of vegetables, which need to be eaten throughout the day. So for example, after the breakfast, this is what I do with the veggies. I add them into, and I'll make a little omelette. Okay, if you haven't got hot hands, please don't use your hands to do this. I'm a busy mum, I haven't got time to fuss around with utensils. Okay, so I let this cool off. So that's the 4-egg omelette here, with the 2 yolks, with the vegetables added in. All right, turn it all off, and I let it settle on the side, because then if you let it settle on the side, you can slide it out of the pan and roll it into a little sandwich. Well, I call it a sandwich. So it's an egg roll, if you like. It's quite a nice way of eating. You've got to think of exciting ways to eat plainer food, yeah? So going back to the vegetables. All right, so we're gonna put our veggies in here. So you can see it's a fair amount of veggies there. It's filling up a whole saucepan, yeah? Like this. I will eat all this during the day, and then I also have my evening meal. So I'll divide these up into 2 to 3 meals throughout the day. So instead of, for example, some of you may just go and grab crisps, you might grab a Coca-Cola, but you want to be thinking of having wholesome foods, having a lot more water. Coconut water is a good one as well. Lots of herbal teas. Stay away from those fizzy drinks. Make sure you have all of these throughout the day. Now, if you're in an office, eating vegetables absolutely stinks. So in your break, make sure you go outside. Take the lid off the food outside. That's just from personal experience. I wouldn't be opening a pot of vegetables and pre-cooked chicken, or even worse, fish, in a closed environment in an office. So use your noodle, go outside to eat your healthy food, all right? So we've touched on the veggie side of things, so what else do we have? Well, usually I'll have sweet potato or rice, something like that, with my food during the day. But this is an example of how I would cook the chicken. I actually cooked it last night, so I can't re-cook it this morning. So I'll have organic chicken breast with essential turmeric. Yeah, if you can get organic turmeric and cut it up, and also fresh ginger, is so much better than buying this stuff. But if you have to get this stuff, then do. Okay, so you want to be putting some herbs and spices in, doesn't matter which ones, whichever give you more flavour. And then I'll just put it with water, and I will let those chicken breasts, I usually cook like 3 or 4 chicken breasts, organic ones from the local butchers. I always get my food locally, don't go and buy from the supermarket. I know it's more expensive, but you've only got one body. You pay 650 quid for a service and an MOT, and you won't pay the same amount for your health. So you have to balance and think, well, all right, so if I want to live longer, if I want to have a more alkaline body, a less carcinogenic body, which means less prone to disease, you want your immune system to be tip top. How many of you out there have colds constantly? You have to look at what you're eating. Your immune system is in constant fight mode. Now, a lot of that is to do with stress, I understand that. But if you can get your food prepped, guys and girls, there are companies out there that do this. They prep your food for you. I know, because with in the bodybuilding world, we have prep food companies, and these companies also provide food for offices, people that can't prepare their food, they'll get them delivered. They're not ridiculously expensive. Obviously, you wouldn't do it for the whole family, but if you really just needed to get into a routine and didn't have time, you have an option. You absolutely have an option. So, vegetables, there they are cooking there at the moment. And then make sure that you have for me, I'm a meat eater, so I will always have an organic meat dish of some kind. Vegetarians, you want to be looking at pulses, you've got lentils, you've got kidney beans, all the beans, and you want to be using a lot of herbs and spices with that as well. So to speed up your metabolism, put a bit of chili in everything, and make sure you use coriander. Coriander takes metals out your system, as does parsley. The world is full of metal, we can't get away from it. It's in the pipes, it's in the fish that we eat, it's in absolutely everything, it's in the water that we drink. So how do we get away from that? Oh yeah, and the pans that we cook in, the ovens that we cook in. We have to use supplements in order to prevent the build-up of metals in the body. Build-up of metals in the body means the body is actually not functioning to the best of its ability, and you're more prone to disease. So parsley and coriander, you want a cup of each per day. If you say you don't like it, then look at other options for taking the metals out. These are my top 2 tips. So I've prepped all my food, I've gone upstairs, got changed. Yeah, get changed so that everything is all. Your whole day has to be organised. You've got kids, you've got to get up early, prep your food, get yourself ready. So this is going to be my mid-morning snack and my lunch. So I've got 200 grams of green veg here. I've got a little bit of potato, so I've got 50 grams of white potato, and I've also got 100 grams of organic chicken breast with, these are pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are important to have, again, because they are healthy fats. So you're better off having pumpkin seeds than you are covering it in the sweet chili sauce, yeah? Make sure that the pot you have it in, so this is a special plastic that is not carcinogenic, because otherwise everything counts. You know, nowadays we're so full of plastic, you want to use the right plastics to store your food in. When I get back this afternoon, because I'm not out all day, I am then on into this. So this is, again, well, that's 250. I'm sharing this with my son, so I prep his food at the same time. So that's the next meal. Plus we've got, this is fish. So I've cooked that in turmeric and ginger with some organic fennel from the garden. Now this is sea bream, and sea bream is really, really tasty. So for those of you that are a bit funny about fish, sea bream is a really good alternative because it has a lovely oily texture to it, and it's pretty much the same amount of protein as you would have in cod. So cod's 19 grams of protein per 100 grams, sea bream is 20, tuna is 20, same with salmon, that's also 20. However, salmon is a fatty protein, all right? It's also very high in metal. Any of the darker fish are. That's why it's so important to cook them with, remember I mentioned coriander and parsley take the metals out. You're putting the metals in, you have to take something to take the metals out. I haven't even touched on supplements, yeah? So, food prepped for later. So what do you have as snacks in between? We're gonna go out from my little studio here into the normal daylight, and this is for later. This is what I have later on. So usually I would have some dark organic chocolate, yeah? I will have mixed nuts organic. I will have my supplements in a little pot. I've got my vitamin C here. So this is Aldrient C, and you put it in water and you mix it all up. It's really important to make sure you've got lots of snacks, okay? I'll have a couple of apples with that, or if I'm lucky enough to have some fresh organic blueberries, please include them. Organic blueberries, why are they so good? Well, they are the superfood. They're full of nutrients. They're full of antioxidants. Yeah, very, very important. So have a great day today, and I will see you later for dinner.